What's up? Welcome into another daily Buckeye Blitz. I'm Joe from the Buckeye Cast with your Thirsty Thursday, August 25th, 2022 Blitz. As always, we appreciate you joining us and joining our 5-minute podcast. These have been kind of bleeding more into like the 7 or 8 minute range, but who cares? 5 is the goal, over deliver, under promise, over deliver, something like that. I think that applies. So anyways, thanks for joining us. As always, please leave a comment on the video or subscribe to the channel or subscribe to the podcast feed wherever you're digesting this, and we'll see what comes out the other end, right? All right. All right. Today's topic is I'm going to give you my Big Ten East division standings for 2022. This is regular season, so I'm going to give you some stats and some over-unders on what Vegas thinks these teams are going to do, because Vegas is typically right? Am I right? Or am I right? Right. All right, here we go. Starting, we're going to go bottom to top, all right? Kind of like, So worst to first. My shittiest team in the East. I mean, there's like 2 or 3 you could probably make an argument for here. I would hear that argument. Indiana, number 7, coming in the Big East. Phil still has their strength of schedule at 8, PFF at 6. That's not good. That's in the country, not in the conference, not in the division. 8th and 6th in the country. That's pretty freaking tough. Because they don't get to play Indiana. Indiana doesn't get to play itself, although come bowl season, they probably will be playing for themselves. All right. Vegas has their over-under for the regular season at 4 wins, 14 wins out of 12 games. So I'm looking at their schedule right now. I have a hard time finding 4. Maybe Idaho, Western Kentucky. Those could be a couple wins, but once they're in conference play, even at Cincinnati, that's definitely a loss. But once you get into conference play, Rutgers might be the only team they can beat. I don't think they can beat Maryland. So, yeah, that's my number 17, and I think they might hit the 4. Number 6, I got Rutgers. Phil Steele has them at the 10th strength of schedule in the country. PFF at 17. PFF has them estimated at 4.7 wins on the year. Vegas has them at an even 4 also. Again, looking at their schedule, not so hot, my friend. Yeah, I don't know how you're going to get through some of these conference opponents to get more than 4 wins. Definitely not going to be a bowl season for the Rutgers Knights. Good night, sweet prince. You could have Indiana and Rutgers tying for last, theoretically. Wouldn't that be a sweet game? No, let's figure out who plays. Let's play these 2 teams and see who sucks worse. Well, thanks. All right, number 5 in the Big Ten East, I got Maryland. Phil Steele has them 23rd ranked in the country at strength of schedule. PFF has them at 20th, and PFF has them winning 6.7 games this year. Vegas has them at a 6 over under. They got minus 130 on the over. So Vegas is leaning the over. So looking at their schedule, things are fine. I mean, you got some layups here the first 3 weeks, non-conference. Then you go to Michigan. You're home for Michigan State and Purdue, and at Indiana is probably a win. But then you go to Wisconsin, to Penn State back to back. Yeah, that schedule's wrong. PFF fucked up their schedule. It says at Wisconsin, then 2 weeks later, home against Wisconsin. So, anyways, that's a big trouble. If you're playing Wisconsin twice a year, you're fucked. Anyway, I got like 7 wins. Yeah, I'll give them 7 because they play Indiana, Rutgers, 3 garbage non-conference. Yeah, I can get them to 7. So I'd take the over there. But so they're number 5 on my Big Ten standings. Number 4, Penn State, the Knits, and Chrome Dome, Franklin. Phil Steele has their strength of schedule at 20th in the country, PFF 24th, but PFF has them only winning 7.1 games. Vegas thinks differently. They have the over-under at 8.5, and the juice is on the under, minus 135, plus 105 on the over. So I'm looking at their schedule here, and if that offensive line is still trash like it has been for the last few years, they're going to lose to Auburn. They're going to lose to Michigan. They're going to lose to the Buckeyes. They're going to lose to Michigan State. Right there's 4. And then they could be in trouble in a dogfight with Minnesota, maybe Northwestern. So yeah, I don't like the 8.5 there. I'm definitely taking the under, but it's good enough to get you 4th in the Big Ten East in my eyes. My third ranked team in the Big Ten East, Michigan State, Sparty. Phil Steele has their strength of schedule 26th. PFF has them 19th, and PFF has them winning 7.5 games this year. Vegas concurs. Their over-under is at 7.5, with the juice on the over, minus 130 on the over, plus 100 even money on the under. So Michigan State here, I think they could hit the over. They could definitely hit the over. I can see them. They're going to beat Western Michigan, beat Akron. They'll go to Washington, beat them. They'll probably beat Maryland. They'll probably beat Illinois. Definitely Rutgers. Definitely Indiana. Right there is 7. And then you got to beat at Penn State, at Michigan, Ohio State, and Wisconsin. If you can squeeze out a win from one of those games, you got a chance of hitting the over. So that's good for Sparty. I hope they addressed some of those offensive dudes that they left. I know they got the quarterback and was it Reed coming back, the receiver, but losing the running back Walker is a huge loss. So that gives me 3rd in the Big Ten East. And then the toilet up north coming in at number 2. Their strength of schedule is fucking trash, dude. This is like Pac-12 level trash. Phil Steele has their strength of schedule 50th in the country, PFF 41st, and PFF has them winning 9.1 games this year. The over-under is at 9.5. So I can definitely see them getting easily to 9. This should not be difficult. This first 4 weeks, Colorado State, Hawaii, Connecticut, Maryland, all easy wins. Then they go to Iowa. Who knows what can happen in the corn? We've all been there. At Indiana, that's another layup. Home versus Penn State, another dicey 50-50 kind of coin toss kind of game, coin flip. Then Michigan State, that's a tough one. At Rutgers is a win. Nebraska probably a win. Illinois a win. So I got you at 8 right there. Then they come to Columbus to finish the season, right? And get finished. So you got to win one of these Iowa, Penn State, Michigan State, Ohio State games. I don't think it's going to be the Buckeyes. So you got to win one of Penn State, Michigan State, and Iowa. So I don't know, man. I took the under. I put my money on the under, but that's what I do every year. It's worked out pretty well for me for the last 6 years, 7 maybe, something like that. I always take the Michigan under. Coming in first, no surprise here, I would hope. The Buckeyes winning the Big Ten East, headed to Indy to play the West, whoever that might be. Phil Steele has the Buckeyes at 14th in the country, and PFF has them 16th strength of schedule, estimating them at 10 wins. Vegas has them at 10.5. The over-under, heavy juice, minus 225 on the over, plus 185 on the under. So Vegas thinks this is an 11-win team, at least, at worst case scenario. And I got to agree. I don't see Notre Dame. This should be a relatively easy win. It's going to be a first half that's going to be difficult, but Buckeyes will take them into deep waters. Arkansas State, Toledo. Wisconsin game will be a tough week 4 matchup, but hopefully you got your defense with their feet under them. Then Rutgers at Michigan State, home versus Iowa, not going to Iowa. At Penn State, tough one. At Northwestern, no. Indiana, no. Maryland, and then Michigan coming to Columbus. I don't see more than one loss in there, and it really would happen, in my opinion, if it doesn't happen in the first Notre Dame, Wisconsin area, which I don't think it will. Iowa and Penn State back-to-back could get difficult. But after Penn State, Northwestern, Indiana, Maryland, that's another layup kind of stretch. And then you want to be 100% healthy and ready to go for the Michigan game when they come into Columbus. So I got them going undefeated, 12 wins, 12-0 in the Big Ten. Let me know what you guys think. As always, find me on social, comment on the video and all that stuff. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Go Bucks.